For last night's reading, I used the La Flora tarot deck. And it's a beautiful botanical tarot deck that was gifted to me, and I love it so much, and so do my ancestors, which is why they like to work through it. But in the few years that I've had that deck, I have never had this card come out for a reading, this black card, and it is a very heavy card. It's a very heavy card. This deck has a number of its own unique cards, and I really wanted to dive a little further into this black card and give you folks a little bit more information on what it means and what we can do. But I want folks to understand something else too. I read tarot cards, and I have been doing this for over 30 years, but I'm not a tarot card reader. It's at the core of the work that I do is being a hollow bone, which is being an open channel to the divine, bringing in messages, healing, information, unconditional love, helping people grow and expand, and working to help as many people as possible. Much of what comes through me is simply divine energy. And so even in my readings, the hollow bone work that I do is intended to help as many people as possible. But these are not relationship readings. They're not to help you figure out if Brad is cheating. They're not to help you identify the narcissists in your life and point fingers. This is about your personal healing, growth, and expansion as human beings. And we are at a very pivotal point right now in human expansion. Many people are going through a lot of struggle. Things are coming up to be healed. It's not easy. It's very painful. Many of us are very overloaded and overwhelmed. And the reason is because we're going through a big shift. The way things were is not going to be the way things are. And we have a choice to expand spiritually, to grow into this new way of being, and to open ourselves up to who we are in our own authenticity versus who we have played the role of in this old structure and format of patriarchy and capitalism and consumerism and all these other things. It's not been a pleasant time, and we are being called by the divine to open ourselves up, to heal, to move into a new way of being. And because this card is so heavy, I want to dig into it a little further. But I want to start first by just reading to you the creator's understanding and description of what this card is about. There's two cards like this. There's the black one, and then there's the blank one, which is pure white. So I'm going to read this to you. We are living through strange and difficult times. A pandemic, which looks like it has been taken out of dystopian movies, claiming the lives of over 5 million people worldwide at the time of this writing, and responsible for the spread of fear, anger, suffering, and destruction throughout the entire planet is raging. A time when racism, xenophobia, and fascism are raising their ugly heads yet again. When Mother Earth shows her discontent and readiness to disregard our species if we keep pushing her boundaries. We are living through manipulative fake news, turning society into puppets and narcissistic social media pretenders. Life has not been easy. Yet historically, we have never been so peaceful, so healthy, so wealthy, and so safe. Technology continues to evolve at an incredible pace, and the arts are conquering new realms and audiences. We have never been so connected, be it digitally or physically, notwithstanding the pandemic, and with it comes a myriad of possibilities and opportunities for cooperation. Look no further. Here we are, connected all over the world by our love of tarot and plants. I love them. Oh, look at that. It's the Ten of Pentacles. It is my personal understanding, and that of many others I am sure, that the first step towards the light is to acknowledge the darkness. To reach enlightenment, we must first realize our ignorance. Only when we understand our faults and flaws can we strive to improve it. It is with this mindset that I decided to include two extra cards to La Flora Tarot deck, the black and the blank. The black card represents the very hard but much needed acknowledgement of the failures, shortcomings, and poor ethical choices we are imposing on ourselves as individuals in society, as well as on the planet and all its life forms. The blank card is a reminder that our lives are a blank canvas. It is our prerogative, our privilege, and our obligation to do more, to do better. It signifies the hope and the responsibility to create a better future. And it all starts in the moment, in the present, right now, with every minute choice you and I make. And that is the truth of it. I know that times are really hard for everyone, but I also know that we are being called to become greater than what we are now. And the emergence of this black card from this deck, there are a lot of people who are stuck in those toxic cycles of that darkness, still making those poor ethical choices, still operating out of power, control, and manipulation instead of out of solidarity, sovereignty, and peace. And some folks are really, really wrapped up in that. And that card indicated somebody who had been following along with that blindly for a long time and allowing that to influence them. And it's a really heavy thing. This is not, it's not a joke. This is a large pattern that repeats, not just in our personal lives and romantic relationships, but it's happening on a global scale right now. It's happening on a national scale, those games of power and control. And it's destroying our life. It's destroying our planet and our way of being. And it's important for us to not cower in fear and overwhelm, but to stand up against this. And the way that we do that is by coming together. And so I encourage you all, as I have been doing for several years now, to open up to your greater communities, to start making contacts, to start getting involved, volunteer, because truly the discomfort is only in the starting of that. You may feel weird, but you don't have to show up perfect. You just need to show up. And the more you do that, the more not only does it help the community, but it also helps you. It energizes you. It gives you purpose. It gives you direction. And that's the truth. So I want to look a little deeper into what it is about this black card, because it really was shocking to see it come up last night. So can I get just a little bit more about why we're seeing this black card? I guess you do want to. There's the Ten of Pentacles again. So what I can say is that a lot of this, and of course we know this, power, control, manipulation, devastation, oppression is simply all about money. Nothing about humans, nothing about people, nothing about the planet, nothing about the health of our environment, nothing about anything but money. And it may be that the situation that I was talking about last night was very money driven. Now, there was a time in our history when people would be able to get away with that more easily. But in 2026, as we're going through this massive spiritual shift and awakening, the bind is putting their foot down. Pardon me while I check on my brownies. All right, as I was saying, the divine's foot is coming down because we are ready for a shift into something else. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't know any other way of being except for graduating high school, going to college, getting a job, getting married, having a house, 2.5 kids, and a dog, and then that's supposed to be success and fulfillment. And yet here most of us are completely unfulfilled, very unhappy, not at all familiar with what unconditional love feels like or is, and staring down a very bleak future that's upon us and feeling helpless and feeling hopeless. Death. And it's time for that to change. the issue with games of power, control, and manipulation. These games of power and control and manipulation are the opposite of love. Okay? Because when you are trying to have power over people or someone, when you want to have power over someone, when you want to manipulate them, when you want to give half-truths, when you want to not tell people the full story, you're not allowing them to have all the information that they need to make informed choices for themselves. You're restricting their free will and restricting their ability to choose for themselves. And so in that, love is not and cannot be present where power, control, and manipulation are. You do not exhibit or express love by trying to remove the choices of others or trying to control or oppress people. There is no love in that. There is only, I don't really like the word evil. If we want to think about that in a different way, where it's not evil, we're talking about understanding the greater reality of spirituality, of the universe, of existence, of the divine, versus cutting all that out, blocking it off, and trading it for control over a tiny fraction of the universe, this material world. It's not evil, and I work with angels and demons, and it's not what most of y'all think it is. And a lot of that is just regurgitated Christofascist nonsense that, the Catholic Church has programmed into our brain for like hundreds of years. So the truth of the universe is a lot more complex. It's not black and white, good versus evil. It's about growth and expansion and the development of our soul. And what we think looks like one thing down here from our very narrow perspective can be an entirely different thing from a higher dimensional perspective, a higher vibrational perspective. But this is what keeps us trapped and bound to this planet. It's what keeps our souls trapped in fear. It's what keeps us from evolving into a species that is more harmonious, technologically advanced, balanced, eliminating these wars and power struggles in the world. That is what all of this is. And the way we move through that is first by accepting it, knowing that that's what this is, and knowing that this isn't leading us towards anything other than the same trap that we're all already stuck in on this planet. And I can tell you with certainty that there is so much more. There is no love in this situation. It is the opposite of love. It is the destruction of love. It is the control, the choking, the strangling of it, so that one person can feel on top of a pile, of a ladder, of a mountain, and have that one fleeting moment of, I am on top, until someone else comes and topples them down. And then the cycle repeats over and over and over. The Sun, King of Swords. So the King of Swords was in last night's reading too. And the Sun says that reading was intended to illuminate something. And it's that we have a choice. We have a choice to move into authenticity, to stop lying to ourselves, to stop lying to others, to speak truth, to embody truth, and to know truth. Or, we certainly can go the other way and seek only to obtain wealth and power that is empty and does not feed our soul. And as so many of the dead who still walk this earth know, it can be a horrible trap that keeps you from ever evolving spiritually. So there's a greater meaning here, and I want folks to be mindful that my readings are a bit different. I'm a bit different. My hollow bone work makes me different. But if you're interested in what I'm saying and what I've been sharing with you, I will be actually presenting a free meditation next week on Tuesday, and I'll be dropping some more information about that tomorrow and later in the week. But I want folks to have an opportunity to experience this for themselves. It's not just healing work, it's not Reiki, it's not even integrated energy therapy, which is the other modality I practice. This is something miraculous that can do more than heal your wounds or your ailments. This can help expand your spiritual senses, give you a greater connection with spirit, with the divine, and help you find your way, your path, and what your soul's calling and soul's purpose is, and follow that. And it's certainly done that for me. So I'll be posting more information on that later this week. And I hope some of you will join me. It is free and there will be more to come. Love you. Bye.